To put my address in like I don't know where I stay. She know my phone number by heart, she think I'm Mike Jones. Why I had to put it down in the ice age.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CC. It's been a while. It's your boy Shawston, and I'm just going to catch you up on everything that's been going on in the last couple of weeks. But first, I wanted to shout out Elgato, our new and first sponsor on Carbon Copy. Thank you so much to them for providing the equipment that we need to make amazing content like this gorgeous microphone, the microphone arm, the prompter that I'm looking through right now to make sure I'm looking straight at the audience. Thank you, Elgato, so much for being supportive of creatives like us and driving the scene forward. But first off, I'm going to talk about some Call of Duty news. Now, this is actually not to do with the CDL, which is the first time in a while I feel like Call of Duty's had some sort of interaction in the community that doesn't have to do with the CDL, and that is the Esports World Cup announced that there's going to be Warzone and Modern Warfare 3 at the tournament. Warzone's going to be up first in just a few weeks. Along with that, Biffle, Hisoka, and Shifty have been picked up by Team Falcons, which is pretty much what people are calling the home team in Saudi Arabia because of the Saudi Arabia org. The bag must be disgusting. And then we've got 4 confirmed teams according to the rotation. We've got Ultra, Rocker, LA Thieves, and Atlanta FaZe for the tournament, which sort of makes sense because those 4 teams, their parent companies, are already partnered with the Esports World Cup, have other teams and other games going already. So it's going to be interesting how the rest of the teams are chosen. Is it going to be open qualifier? It's going to be 16 teams, though, so there will be at least 4 teams that aren't in the CDL that are going to be at the Esports World Cup. So I'm actually really excited for it because this is the first time in a long time that we will see the top AM teams be able to play against the CDL teams in a tournament format and for a large amount of money. So this is basically like the old champs that we used to have. Granted, not as many teams. You know, CWL days we used to have 32 teams and like way more global representation at champs. But that being said, this is a great start, and all it took was a little bit of Saudi Arabia money to get it to happen. So. Shout out Esports World Cup for that. Just this past couple of weeks, we've had a lot of things going on in the Halo community, so I wanted to bring on someone special. I got King J on the call to talk about everything that's going down in HCS. King J, welcome to the show. First off, let's talk about some London. What happened over there across the pond?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me on the show. First off, appreciate it. London went, I don't know, I don't think a lot of people thought FaZe were going to win. A lot of predictions had SSG or Optic winning, which obviously the big 3, you can't really go wrong with picking any one of those 3 to win. But we saw FaZe win yet again, as they always do. I don't know. When those guys are like on, I don't think there's a single team that can beat them. It's just a matter of which FaZe shows up. And the good FaZe showed up in London, so yeah, they take the whole thing.
So I wasn't able to watch it live. Was it a close series with Optic, or was it kind of a blowout like we've seen in the past?
No, it was close. It was 4-2. Optic had to win 2 best-of-7s because they came from lower, so that's always good. Winning 8 maps first phase in 2 series is obviously going to be a tough task, but it wasn't a complete blowout like we've seen in the past. It was a pretty good grand finals, I would say. 4-2. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't. It could have been better. You love to see a bracket reset. You love to see a game 7, but I'm sure for the FaZe guys, they're perfectly fine with how it went down. So. And
the event itself, first tournament we've had over in London or over across the pond in a long time. How, in your opinion, how did the tournament sort of run from a spectator and just experience standpoint?
I think the biggest positive out of it was how personal the main stage was. Like, you saw a lot of shit talk, because usually main stage, like, you can't really, you obviously can't hear anyone because of how they're pretty spread out. But London, the main stage, you were face to face, like monitors back to back with each other.
Yeah.
And that's what the main stage was. So that part is cool. Like, I like that, because who doesn't like, a shit when someone gets shit on and, people start screaming at each other and pointing and whatever. That part I love. But the venue itself, I heard, was pretty small, like on the smaller side. So that kind of sucks. But I mean, I don't know. It is what it is over there. But I don't know. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm sure it was all good over there.
So one other thing happened at HCS London that had a lot of people talking, a lot of people, differing opinions, but everything's been sort of laid out now with all the information.
Yeah.
Sort of briefly talk about what happened and your take on it.
Well, I'm assuming we're talking about Mr. Spartan, the dog.
The
there.
dog.
The dog, yeah. Listen, going as not. I mean, obviously, if you're a pro player, you know this. Any spectator doesn't know this, but HCS and the eSport Engine admins are very, very strict when it comes to SSDs. They make it known there's always a pro player meeting like the Thursday night before the event or the Friday morning where, all the admins get together with at least one pro from every single team and just lays out, the format, the schedule, the rules. And they always make it a point to say, you do not touch your SSD. Like, if you need it moved, you come get one of us. We do it. Like, you do not touch it. So Sparty knew what he was doing was wrong. I think him getting disqualified from London is fair. I don't think the whole team getting disqualified is fair. I felt like they should have been able to play with their sub or their coach at least. I don't agree with the whole year punishment because, I don't know, I think that's a little outrageous. Sparty didn't play an official match with it. Whether his intentions were to or not, I guess we'll really never know. But he didn't play an official match. All he did was shoot bots for a couple minutes with the SSD. For those who don't know, he downloaded a couple programs, not like, like wall hacks or anything crazy like that, but just to boost FPS on his computer because I would say since the game came out, Sparty's been so outspoken about there's certain things you can do to optimize the game better, but HCS won't allow him to do it. He's tried to talk to them in the official way, like being professional, and they shoot him down every time. He always tries to, whether it's like overclocking a controller or this program boost FPS, HCS always tells him no, we're not letting it happen. So he did that without, telling anyone at London. Obviously he got caught, but he didn't play an official match. He was only shooting bots with it. The whole being banned for the whole year is kind of crazy to me because I just feel like we need to be fair in the punishments that we get because there has been the very first event, year 1, Royal 2, got caught geo-filtering, and for those who don't know, that kind of just means like picking what server you want to play on so you get the best ping, which he got caught geo-filtering and he got banned for just one event. So why Sparty doesn't do that, all he does is boost his FPS by a little bit, doesn't even play an official match, and he gets banned for the whole year. I don't know, we're just not being consistent with punishments, and I don't know, there might be some bias there because Spartan's he is the most outspoken pro out there. He butts heads with 343 every chance he gets, blah, blah, blah. So whether there's underlying bias there or not, I mean, I don't know, I guess we'll never know that either. But I don't know, what he did was wrong, but I don't agree with being punished or banned for the whole year. I feel like that's kind of outrageous,
But so Spartan the dog, I feel like it was sort of whiplash on what the community thought because at first everyone was like, oh, he brought his own SSD from home, he cheated, yada, yada. But then all the information came out and now it seems like the whole community is like, whoa, like this is a little overkill. Like a whole year is like way too much. Is that pretty much like the whole community is like under the same agreement that he shouldn't be banned for that long? Yeah,
I mean, I think when the news first came out, people weren't really sure. Like, you hear someone messing or downloading programs on their SSD, you probably just firstly assume he's like downloading an aimbot or like legit like cheating. And like obviously everyone's reaction to that is like, get this guy out of here, obviously. But then when all the facts actually come out and you realize all he did was boost his FPS by a little bit and he didn't even play an actual match. All he did was shoot bots with it. I think every tweet or every pro agrees that he shouldn't be banned for the whole year. I've seen like a couple of tweets of people like, oh, he cheated, like he deserves it. But I mean, there's always going to be people on the other side of the fence no matter what the topic is. But yeah, I mean, I would say 99% of people are in agreement that he should have been DQ'd from London. I think that's fair, but not every single event after. I think everyone can agree with that for the most part.
Yeah, King J, I appreciate you hopping on and talking a little bit some Halo.
Thank you, man. Anytime.
Breaking news on Carbon Copy. We're the first to cover these sort of things. I got the co-host Cameron, aka Hey Cam, to talk about some League of Legends stuff that's just gone down within the last 24 hours or like not less than that. So I'm not going to waste any time. Hey Cam, what's going on?
Shawston, the world's on fire. The LCS is changing as we know it. I'll give you the quick rundown, and here's the fact sheet. The LCS, CBLOL, and Latin America are all merging into one region titled the Americas. The Americas region is going to split into the two conferences, North and South. Obviously, CBLOL taking control of the South, and then LCS taking control of the North. Latin America, because of that, is kind of being dissolved, but they are still going to have their footprint on both of these leagues. I'll tell you how. There's only going to be 8 teams per conference within the Americas. So 16 teams total, so more, teams in the region is nice, but there's only going to be 18 per conference. And what that means is that Brazil's going to lose a lot of teams. They're well over 8 teams right now in their league, and the LCS is probably going to lose a couple as well. And I'll tell you why. Because Latin America is being dissolved, one team in both North and South is going to be a Latin America team. So they're opening up space for one Latin America team to be added to both North and South. And then one slot in both North and South is going to be reserved as a guest slot. So similar to Valorant and to, leagues past, this is going to be reserved for promotion and relegation. So you can be promoted to the guest spot and play in the major league, and you can keep it as well if you continue to perform well within the league. That's kind of what the new shaping of the leagues is going to look like. But here's what also changed as far as international events go. We are getting an additional international event for LoL Esports, which is incredibly exciting. It's going to happen at the beginning of the year. So January, maybe February. We don't have dates completely ironed out yet. But reporting is saying that it's going to be a massive global tournament. It's going to be a lot like a kickoff tournament within the regions, insular to the regions themselves. So North will play a tournament, South will play a tournament, and then they'll probably play against each other, and then they will send the respective winners, whether that's 2 or 3 teams, to the kickoff tournament, the first big tournament, international tournament of the year. Now there are 5 regions in LoL Esports. There's the Americas, Korea, China, Europe, and APAC, because a lot of the minor Asian regions have been dissolved as well. So that's another thing that happened today. For as far as North versus South, there is going to be a big regional championship at the end of the season prior to Worlds. So the season ender will see us bringing in, the team from the Southern Americas Conference and the Northern Americas Conference together to duke it out to really see which conference is better. This is going to be happening at the end of the year. As far as I understand, the split tournaments leading up to this are going to be insular within the Northern and Southern conferences.
It's definitely interesting they do all these changes in the middle of the season, but I feel like obviously with any change to any sort of ecosystem, there's going to be someone that gets the short end of the stick. But I think overall, in my opinion, it sort of helps consolidate things and makes it easier and more digestible for new fans to come into the esports and follow along for all the tier 1 esports that's going on in League of Legends. Because just tier 1 in general, it was very convoluted. Tier 2, amateur scenes, college scenes, it's a lot to keep track of. In your opinion, I wanted to ask, what's the biggest W's and the biggest L's from these changes that we've seen?
The biggest W to me is obviously a third international event. And I, bias as a North American fan, we've started to perform better over the past couple of years. So I'm excited to see us be able to pair up against, Chinese and Korean teams. Hopefully we'll, get a big series win over them. The biggest dub is this guest slot. I mean, this really is showing us an opportunity for, Disguised Toast team to be able to promote into the LCS. And that's exciting. And I think other influencers in the space, for example, Mr. Beast, Jimmy has been talking about buying a league team for, I think, 5 years now. Maybe now that he can see a direct path to pro, that he can take, a smaller investment initially. Because if you're able to invest in the tier 2 team and then work your way up to the pro league, then, it could be more bang for your buck. So maybe more influencers get involved there. I think the biggest L that everyone's really talking about is kind of the dissolution of CBLOL. I know a lot of Brazilian fans are feeling as though that these changes are being made to compensate for the fact that LCS is underperforming. By what metrics, I'm not exactly sure they're talking about. Brazilian fans feel slighted. They feel like that their thriving league that is only growing in popularity is being dissolved in a lot of different ways. But that's, from my perspective, it's not necessarily the case. I understand that if fan sentiment is otherwise, because they're still going to have a major presence in, a major region now.
That was a lot of information, but hey, Cam, I appreciate you just breaking everything down and giving us a digestible version of all the league updates. But the future is hopefully bright for League of Legends with these changes, and we'll see how it goes.
It absolutely is. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's going to do it for CC this week. I appreciate you all for checking out the show, catching up with esports with us, and I appreciate the guests for hopping on this week to talk some esports. A lot going on. I know, but I'm going to be on top of it all just next week. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in just a few days. Peace.
To put my address in like I don't know where I stay. She know my phone number by heart, she think I'm Mike Jones. Why I had to put her down in the ice age. Where I'm from, you come through late, you don't do that alone. You brought that face out the boondocks, how long did that take? With your dog, she can't go left.